Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now July 2nd of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have been very skeptical about the future of Star Wars by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly how both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are really going to handle everything moving forward. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Disney and Lucasfilm is that they are constantly going back and forth, trying to really figure out exactly what's the best for Star Wars and exactly how can they really make it just as successful as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not that they're necessarily competing with their own brand, but they also want to have two successful franchises at the same exact time, rather than one being better than the other. Now, the thing about this is that we got Bob Iger and Bob Chapek working together as a team for now until 2021, where Disney gets back on its feet after the global crisis. What they're doing as we speak is that they are primarily focused on Disney Plus and the new Star Wars trilogy of films, and more to come with the future of Star Wars, right? So everything related to the sequel trilogy, we do know that the production of these movies were a big mess, especially with The Rise of Skywalker. This was probably the most difficult production there was for the sequel trilogy because of what Kathleen Kennedy did, initiating all these different reshoots and these rewrites that really caused a big problem between actors, actresses, the crew, and everybody else involved, with, of course, Episode 9. Now, on top of all of this, what's really interesting is, of course, that with both Disney and Lucasfilm now finished with the Skywalker saga and the entire sequel trilogy, they have been moving on to bigger things with the Star Wars franchise for the fans to enjoy. Now, it's noted that they are fully invested with the new Star Wars trilogy of films and other canon pieces that will evolve the franchise further. However, during and after The Rise of Skywalker premiere, many interviews were given to the creators of the sequel trilogy as well as the actors of the Star Wars sequels. At one point in time, Daisy Ridley was questioned by Kathleen Kennedy's leadership over at Lucasfilm, to where Daisy Ridley eventually was able to reveal that Kathleen Kennedy wanted to initiate the reshoots since she was afraid of too many connections with the prequel films. Originally, the films were going to have more prequel connections within the Star Wars film, and that Kennedy felt that they would get backlash since there are many prequel haters of the Star Wars universe. Now, Daisy went on to reveal also that Kennedy was the one who wanted to name the film The Rise of Skywalker in order to attract an audience, and that Kennedy wanted no connections with Colin Trevorrow's direction of the Star Wars franchise at all. So let's not forget that Colin Trevorrow was the original director of Episode 9 before JJ stepped in, and that he was going to do something quite different in comparison to what JJ did. Moving on. Now, initially, JJ was set to actually use some of Colin's ideas, Daisy revealed, and that after a number of months, Kathleen Kennedy was actually not supporting any of this at all, where Daisy also revealed that Kathleen Kennedy changed the ending of the film multiple times that would often be quite different from the other endings in many ways. So, about the endings, right? The endings, I think, is probably the biggest problem with The Rise of Skywalker, is that they went back and forth with different scenarios. Ben Solo dying, Ben Solo being alive at the very end, Daisy Ridley dying as Rey, her character being killed off, all these different things, right? And the constant back and forth really created a tough production for this movie between the cast and the crew, right? So when you look at it this way, I think that's one of the main reasons as to why The Rise of Skywalker seems so shaky, seems so messy at times, or rushed, or convoluted, whatever word you want to use here. There are many times in the beginning, and especially in the middle, at least I feel, is where it feels very rushed and out of place. Sometimes the editing seems like it's way too fast, as if a lot of scenes were taken directly out. The greatest example of this is the Mustafar scene in the very beginning. It's literally probably one of the fast-paced scenes in The Rise of Skywalker, where you have Kylo Ren slaughtering the cultists, protecting Darth Vader's castle. Meanwhile, we don't even get to see Darth Vader's castle, which was going to be a big scene in the movie that Kathleen Kennedy stripped from the movie itself. So Daisy Ridley, she really went through a lot of hoops to really kind of give this great performance as Rey, and a lot of people, weren't really all that impressed. Now, I, however, think that this movie has its moments. It's got its moments where the acting is beautiful, it's well done, but it's also got its other moments where it's just to the point where I despise it. I mean, I gotta be honest, and I've talked about this before in the past, last year, is that this movie is like an emotional roller coaster. It has its highs and lows, a lot. A little bit too constant like that. It really is up and down, many times in the beginning, middle, and end. So, like I've said before in the past, you know, Daisy Ridley, she really poured her heart and soul into this, only for Kathleen Kennedy to really intervene and change the scenes. So with that being said, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.